Om Asato Ma Sadgamaya Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya Mrityurma Amritam Gamaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om, lead us from the unreal to the real. Lead us from darkness unto light. Lead us from death to immortality. Om, peace, peace, peace. So thank you for joining us again for this final session of the retreat on Mahavakya Viveka, the fifth chapter of the Panchadasi. In this chapter, Vidyaranya Swami, it's a very compact chapter. He actually presents the result of the analysis of the Mahavakyas. How is the analysis done? We saw yesterday. I gave an outline of the technical details of the analysis. But here he does not go into all those details. He simply gives the result of each of the Mahavakyas. For the four Mahavakyas, Vidyaranya Swami has given 8 verses, 2 verses for each Mahavakya. So we have seen 2 in the last 3 classes. We have seen Prajnanam Brahma from the Aitareya Upanishad, Rigveda Mahavakya. Then we have seen Aham Brahmasmi from the Vidyaranya Upanishad, the Yajurveda Mahavakya. So now we will see the other 2. Before that, let us go through some questions very quickly. I have one question which was sent to me. Let me just read out the question. The following is my understanding of the verse Saidam Devata Ikshata in Chandogya Upanishad, which is in the 6th chapter. All that is in the entire universe, known and unknown, is connected to my knowing. Whatever is connected to my knowing is connected to my being, because being, Sat, is not different from knowing, Chit. That means all existence is myself. I am all. I am the center of the cosmos. The question is, the word center in the last sentence begs clarification. Elsewhere, another text talks about the universe as having many centers. What does this refer to? Please clarify. Okay, so this is a difficult and subtle question. I took this opportunity to look at the Bhashya, Shankara Bhashya on this. And there it is very important for our understanding, what we were discussing a little earlier. There, Shankaracharya says, the self is reflected in our antakarana. So he uses the term anupravesha. This is a term that he has used in the Taittiriya Upanishad. Anupravesha Vakya is there. So how does the self or Atman or Brahman enter into us? Such a language is used that once the elements are formed, fire and in Chandogya Upanishad, only 3 elements are mentioned, 3. But 5 elements also you can take from Taittiriya Upanishad. How does the self enter into that? So the self enters as being, Sat, and the self enters specially as consciousness, Chit. For all elements, the self enters as being. Atma lends existence, or Brahman lends existence to the elements, the primal elements, and manifests, Vyakaroti, manifests the name and form. So Akasha, Vayu, Agni, Apa, Prithvi, they are manifested in their own nature as the 5 elements by being given existence by Atma, or by giving existence by Brahman, by Sat. But more specifically, as consciousness, when those elements combine, the subtle elements combine to form the antakarana, our antakarana in each of us. Atma lends, or Brahman lends, not only existence, not only does the antakarana exist, but also shines in with its own light by consciousness. That light is lent by the Atman or Brahman. Consciousness lends or is reflected in the antakarana, not only as existence, but also as awareness, not only as Sat, but also as Chit. So in the consciousness lent in the antakarana is the one we were calling Chidabhasha. So this is the one of the key sources where Shankaracharya himself discusses in the Bhashya. This whole idea of being reflected, consciousness being reflected. Later on in post Shankara Advaita, the whole idea of Chidabhasa was developed, but Shankaracharya is very clear. Anupravesha, Brahman entering into its own creation, let us say. How? Being reflected as consciousness in the Antakarana, being reflected as existence of all the elements. Now, a question is raised. I was seeing in the Bhashya, it is so relevant. A lady just asked a question in the earlier session that this whole idea of reflection, why talk about it? I think because isn't it all fake? So the bucket and the reflection in the water of the bucket, isn't it all fake? Exactly the same question is raised here in the Bhashya. That an opponent raises the question to the Advaitin. So don't we all become fake then? Because if the name and form and the reflection of the consciousness in the name and form is mithya, and the reflection of consciousness in the in that name and form in the Antakarana will also be mithya. So if we are that, then don't we all become fake? Don't we all become mithya? So the question is put in this way in the Bhashya. It's basically the same question that she was asking in the earlier session. Shankaracharya answers, double answer. One, that no such fear is there, because that consciousness reflected in the mind, which we feel ourselves to be right now, the consciousness in the mind, is in its true nature nothing other than Atman. This is Shankaracharya's own commentary, own language. You are actually Jiva Brahmaiva Napara. So Shankara says that reflection is in its real nature, nothing different from the original source, that is Brahman. So you are actually Brahman. But certainly, he says, as far as name and form go, they are fake. He's very clear about it. They are appearances. They are mithya. The question about the center, from here the answer follows. As Brahman, in my true nature, Jiva Brahmaiva Napara, I am the center of the universe. But in the sense of reflection, as far as I can understand, as the Chaitanya reflected as Chidabhasa in multiple Antakarans. Shankaracharya also talks about it. As many Antakarans there will be, so many Anupraveshas will be there, and so many Jivas will appear. Endless number of Jivas can appear. So that is basically, in fact, what we were discussing. This is the Bhashya foundation. I'm very thankful to the questioner for carefully pointing out this section in the Bhashya. It's actually in the Chandogya Upanishad, 6th chapter itself, 6.3. Okay, let us now look at some questions which are already been raised before we go on.
The question was, if the definition of God is the creator, where I exist, then cannot we prove the existence of the creator in the following way? I exist due to my parents came in existence due to their parents, and so on. Then by this logic, can we reach the existence of creator?
All right. So basically you're asking about the question about the proof of the existence of God. It's not directly connected to what we are discussing. We're talking about the identity of Jiva and Brahma in Lakshyartha. But God, the creator God, is Vachyartha. So I think I had raised this question that the problem of the existence of God. Always theistic religions face this great problem, doubt about the existence of God. We have no doubt about the existence of ourselves, but we have the doubt about the existence of God. So the question here is supplying a possible proof of the existence of God. I exist surely. And from my own existence, okay, let me say I was born because of my parents. My body was born at least because of my parents, and so on. And can we not reason back to the first cause? Certainly we can. Certainly we can. And in fact, that is one of the proofs offered by logicians, by the Naiyayikas, by the Christian theologians. First cause. It is called first cause. Everything in the universe is cause and effect. So whatever we observe are effects. They have come from certain causes. Those causes are also effects. They have come from causes before them. In this way, if we go back, we will come to a first cause. And the first cause will be the cause of the entire sequence of causes leading up to today, this universe. So just this great universe and tremendous effect has been produced. There must be a tremendous first cause, and that tremendous first cause is God. But this is just one proof. And there are other proofs, I'll tell you. but very quickly. Not convincing. So why not convincing? The science will tell you, certainly there is a first cause. The first cause is Big Bang, not God. Big Bang is the first cause. From that, matter has been produced. From matter, all the stars and planets have come about. In certain planets, the matter evolved further into organic matter, then life evolved, and through the process of evolution, here we are today. Where is God in the whole sequence? As the French philosopher, mathematician, Pascal, I think, who was questioned by the French king, what about God? And he says, I don't see the need for that hypothesis. Pascal or Voltaire, maybe Voltaire, or maybe Pascal. So I don't see the need for that hypothesis. Similarly, scientists will answer to you, first cause is there. Suppose you say there is first cause. Suppose. And again, against that also some logic is there. But suppose there is first cause. And the first cause also need not be God. It could be a material cause. Science will say it's a material cause. There are other proofs of the existence of God. There is the proof from design. Such sophisticated design you find in the human body, other living creatures, it cannot be a matter of chance. The watchmaker analogy. So watchmaker analogy is, suppose you're walking in the garden, you see rocks, you see nature, you see dust, nature, you see a small shrub, nature. But you see a watch, nice electronic watch, maybe you see. You will not say nature has produced. You say somebody dropped the watch. Why? Why is that electronic watch different from rock? Suppose he says the analogy is that suppose a tribesman who has never seen a watch and suddenly sees one. That person also will think it's an artifact manufactured by somebody, designed by somebody, not natural occurrence. It shows extraordinary complicated design. So this extraordinary complicated design in our bodies, so sophisticated. Can it be a product of blind forces of nature? No, there must be a designer, and a designer must be according to the sophistication of this body, of living bodies. So such a designer can be only God. Proof. Are you convinced? No. If you give this proof to Richard Dawkins, what will he say? No. Evolution can produce complicated creatures, can produce complicated designs just by the pressure of evolution, by genetic modification, mutation, under the pressure of evolution, with the principle of survival of the fittest, you will get more and more sophisticated systems. Computer models have actually proved that. And so nature can produce very sophisticated systems without any God. So again, doubtful. It may be true, but doubtful. It's no guarantee. And there are at least 2 or 3 other. There is the so-called proof from the purpose, teleological proof that there is an ultimate purpose to the entire universe, and that also is denied. Modern materialist scientists would say there's no purpose. It's just you are conceiving that there's a purpose to all of this. From morals, ethics, evolution. Richard Dawkins has written this book, Selfish Gene. So and later on also, there have been books which have been written. Robert Wright, who writes about the moral animal. So how our morals are actually rooted in our evolutionary roots, nothing divine or ethic, supernatural about it. So none of these proofs are convincing. But what I mentioned was these proofs are evidence of the doubt. There is doubt regarding the existence of God. And so human beings who believe in the existence of God have struggled to prove. So all theistic religions, they will offer proofs of the existence of God. My point was, nobody offers proofs of the existence of oneself. No, the question itself does not arise. Logically speaking, you cannot question your own existence. To question your own existence, you must exist. Okay. Other questions?
I have 2 questions. Okay, the time is there. Most important question is, Swami Totapuri coming to Sri Ramakrishna, initiating him into sannyasa.
Yes.
And then he asked him to meditate on the Nirguna Brahman.
Yes.
Okay. Without or abandoning all forms and names.
Yes.
So Sri Ramakrishna tried, he could easily abandon all names and forms except the Mother Kali's name and form.
Yes.
He tried so much, he said it is impossible, he said. What you have to do it. So he took some glass piece and put a mark on his head, concentrate here, and then do meditation on Nirguna Brahman, okay? I'm just briefly telling you.
Yes.
So Sri Ramakrishna tries and Sri Mother Kali comes with his sword of discrimination, as he says. He cut that, and as soon as that name and form went away, he lost himself in Nirvikalpa Samadhi.
Yes.
Okay. And Totapuri waited there all day, all night, almost 3 days. 3 days. And then he was afraid, so he brought him down from Nirvikalpa Samadhi by chanting Hari Om, Hari Om, Hari Om like that. And also it was a cosmic wonderment to Totapuri. How could he get Nirvikalpa Samadhi in 1 day, for which I struggled 40 years? Okay, this is the background. The question is, this book from Ranganathananda, okay, on the message of the Upanishads, he says, Ranganathananda Swami, this is realization. You know, Paramahamsa going into Nirvikalpa Samadhi is the realization of Brahman. So my question is, we know all these Mahavakyas, understanding, that is not realization. I want you to clarify that. When he says it is realization of Sri Ramakrishna, not what you know, I want to know what you say. That is the first question.
All right, we'll limit it to that.
Okay.
Okay. Because you have to proceed and you have to finish the other ones also. Yes, that is true. And that's a very big question. And if you, this is discussed very nicely by Vidyaranya Swami in his Jivan Mukti Viveka. There he talks about a Krita Upasti, a person who has done Upasana, who has realized as a vision of Ishta Devata, from Saguna Brahman, vision is already there. And from there proceeds further and finally realizes identity with Brahman, Aham Brahmasmi realization. And part of that process, yogic samadhi can also be there. So is this the same as the Mahavakya Artha Vichara? Remember, Totapuri not only taught Nirvikalpa and Sri Ramakrishna to Nirvikalpa Samadhi, that's the popular story. But if you look at the description of all of that in Sri Ramakrishna, the Great Master by Swami Sarvapriyananda ji, a full discussion of Vedanta preceded it. For day after day, the Vedantic teaching was given by Totapuri to Sri Ramakrishna. So we can understand the teaching that you are Brahman is given there. Now, what is the difference between that and our understanding of the Mahavakya? So first of all, our understanding first must come to the stage of Shravana. I must hear clearly and understand the meanings of the words. That is what we have been doing so far. Understand the meanings of the words, the pada, and then the meaning of the sentence, Vakya. Understand means how that refers to me, this fellow, and how the deeper meaning refers to the witness consciousness here, and how that witness consciousness is the unlimited Brahman. Now, this understanding itself should deepen into realization. It should deepen into realization. This understanding by itself is not realization, but as you deepening it requires mananam and nididhyasanam until full clarity is attained. The word understanding is vague. At some level, we feel we have already understood, yet we feel we have not realized. This is the gap. We feel we have understood, but we feel we have not realized. This understanding into realization is a big question. How much of it is an intellectual process? To what extent does meditation and samadhi help? Remember, meditation, samadhi are always help. That is not the central part of the process. The central part of the process, you see, is this vichara. I will leave this discussion aside. one little insight I will give. In the Bhagavad Gita, a beautiful commentary by Madhusudan Saraswati, the great Advaitin who wrote the Advaita Siddhi. So in one place, he makes a comment. He starts discussing this Samadhi versus Vichara. Samadhi versus Vichara. And then he makes a very interesting comment. I think it's in the 6th chapter. He makes a very interesting comment. He says, there are these two paths. For some, the concentration of mind in Samadhi is easier. For some, Vedantic Vichara is easier. And he quotes from Yoga Vashishta, two paths have been set out. Then he says, for whom is this, which path is meant? He says, those who consider and hold the world to be real by according to their philosophy. And he gives the example of, he just says, followers of Hiranyagarbha. Basically, he means Sankhyans, Sankhya and Yoga. For them, there is no other way except Samadhi. For the followers of Sankhya and Yoga, and literally he says for the followers of Hiranyagarbha, there is no other way except through Samadhi. But then he says, but the followers of Bhagavad Pada, the Bhagavan Bhashyakar Bhagavad Pada, he says, that is the Vedantins, Advaitins. We know that the world to be an appearance. It's just name and form superimposed on Brahman. And so the path of Vichara can directly lead to enlightenment. And then he mentions very clearly, therefore, revered Bhagavad Pada, that means Bhashyakara, Shankaracharya, has never taught the path of Samadhi to his followers. Very clearly he mentions this. And then he says, enough of this discussion, back to the Gita. So like that, enough of this discussion, back to our, So the direct answer is, the Shravana, Manana, Nididhyasana of the Mahavakya can lead to realization. The same realization, which is pointed out in that book, that after Nirvikalpa Samadhi, coming out of it, Sri Ramakrishna realized that his identity with Brahman. Same realization. Let me also add, at one point we had asked Swami Bhuteshanandaji, 12th president of our order, about this question. That we are talking about Vichara leading to realization. But in the life story of Sri Ramakrishna, we find Vichara is there and also accompanied by Nirvikalpa Samadhi. And often the stress is given too much on Nirvikalpa Samadhi. So what is this? What about Vedanta and Nirvikalpa Samadhi is also mentioned. Swami Bhuteshanji, who was a thoroughly trained classical Vedantist, he used to speak very slowly. He said, in that case, you have to understand there is an element of yoga involved in it. When you say Vedanta plus Ramakrishna went into Nirvikalpa Samadhi, that is not pure classical Advaita Vedanta. That is an element of yoga also has been introduced into it. In Bengali, he said, Bujte have jogu ache shekhane. If you want to go classical Advaita Vedanta, Shravana, Manana, Nididhyasana, enough. In the process of Nididhyasana, if you attain to Nirvikalpa Samadhi, you get extra bonus marks, but that is not part of this path which we are talking about. Now let us go into, so please hold on to the questions. Let me finish next few verses and then we will come back. Now the great Mahavakya, Tattvamasi, the most famous one. So everybody has heard of Tattvamasi from the Chandogya Upanishad, that thou art. 5th verse. Ekam eva dvitiyam sat Nama Rupa Vivarjitam Srishte Puradhunapyasya Tadriktvam Taditiryate. So before this creation, there existed reality, Sat, existence only. One only, without a second and without name and form. Even now, after name and form is manifested, that same Sat exists, exactly like that. And that is the meaning of Tat. Tattvamasi. So 2 verses, 5 and 6 on Tattvamasi. 5 talks about Tat and 6 talks about Tvam and then shows how the two are one and the same. So remember the story that Shvetaketu went to, his father sent him for studies. Then he came back from the Guru Griha. His father sees that Shvetaketu is coming and Shvetaketu looks quite arrogant. He has studied so much. So his father wants to bring him down a notch. He has graduated and coming back. So he's thinking, what does this old man know? I know so much, latest things I know. So his father asks, son, have you studied? Have they taught you that knowledge by knowing which everything is known? Shweta is stunned. Such a knowledge was not taught by my guru. I've been taught different branches of knowledge. So many things I know. But one knowledge by which everything is known, such a thing, I don't even know that such a thing can exist. And how is it possible? By knowing chemistry, you know everything in chemistry. By knowing biology, you know everything in biology. But what is that by knowing which you know everything? Same question which Shaunaka asked in the Mundaka Upanishad. Kasminnu bhagavo vigyate sarvamidam vigyatam bhavati iti. Sir, what is that by knowing which everything can be known? So this is, we all know the answer, Brahman. But anyway, so he says this. And then, so please teach me, sir. He tells his father, and father starts teaching. So that is the teaching of the 6th chapter where this Tattvamasi will come. And I think humorously, commentator says there that Shwetaketu was afraid of being sent back to school again. So he asked his father, you teach me. So I don't want to go back to school. So his father starts teaching. His father says this where it starts here. Sadeva samya idamagra asid. Before them, this universe was there. Pure being, existence alone was there. Then name and form came and this entire universe was manifested. So it's a grand way of expressing. Now the question would be that at that time, idamagra, before this, so billions and billions of years ago, before all this came into being, there was Sat, pure being. Now the implication is, right now then Sat does not exist. Right now what exists? Names and this universe, matter and energy and plants and animals, stars and planets, that's what exists. So Brahman does not exist anymore. Before all this came, Brahman was there. Now Brahman is not there. Sat was there. Now Sat is not there. He says, no. Now also the same Sat exists. Same Sat exists. Before that, blank screen. Now the screen is covered by a movie. But the screen is definitely there. The very existence of the movie proves that the screen is there. Without the screen, no movie can play. Without Brahman as existence, nothing can appear. Existence, when we say all this is there, plant is, building is, man is, woman is, star is, notice, is. What is that is? We dismiss it, but that is the most important ingredient. That is that Sat. That isness, that existence, Sat, which was there before the appearance of the universe, is also there now. And that Sat, apart from name and form, with name and form, Sat with name and form is what? Saguna Brahman, Ishvara, the God of the universe. Or in technical language, Vimaya Upahita Chaitanyam. But apart from name and form, as existence itself, that is the Lakshyartha. Lakshyartha, pure being. And that is there even now. How do you know? How do you know screen is there? Where is the screen? So there's nice stories there. One sadhu used to tell that a little boy in a village was there who had never seen a movie. Imagine such a boy is there. And his father said, I will take you to the town to show you a movie in a cinema hall. So they went, and on the way, the father told the little boy, see, there will be a screen on which pictures will come and go and sound will be there, and that is called a film or movie. So when they entered the hall, the movie has started. And this is important because when we enter into life, and we don't say first Sat is there and then life starts. No, we are in the middle of the movie. We are thrown into the middle of the movie. So everything is the father, mother is there, school is there, our own body is there, friends and brothers and sisters are there. And so samsara starts. We are in the middle of the plot of the movie. So the child gets absorbed in the movie. After some time, he asks the father, Father, where is the screen? He said, there will be a screen and on that movie will play. Where is the screen? So I often imagine it is like Mahabharata movie or something like that. And in fact, the first movie I ever saw was a Ramayana movie. These days people will laugh. They'll think it's a joke. And, they were shooting arrows and on top of the arrow, they had put those special effect, sparklers, fulgari, that so that will be sparkling like, and they will shoot the arrows. And that was a special effect in those days. Anyway, so the father says, there, that is the screen. Oh, you mean that chariot, Arjuna is standing on the chariot, that Arjuna is the screen? No, behind Arjuna, just behind. Oh, you mean the Krishna is the screen? No, behind them. The chariot? No, behind all that. Oh, the battlefield is screen. No, behind all of it. Behind the battlefield, only sky is there. Behind that also. Behind that, yes, behind all of that. Oh, I see. The whole thing is the screen. The father says, yes, whole thing is screen. Then the child thinks, oh, battlefield, chariot, Krishna, Arjuna, sky, earth, all together is called screen. Father says, no, 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 no. You remove all that. That is screen. Oh, then that screen means nothing. Shunyam. How will the father point out the screen? Because whatever he points to, there's a nama rupa. And immediately the child thinks that is it. If you deny the nama rupa, the child will think nothing. Zero. Shunyam. Similarly, the sat is there behind all nama rupa here. Existence. We are feeling it all the time. We miss it all the time because we think it is a human being. It is a sofa. It is a building. But there itself it is shining out. Vidyaranya Muni, he tries to point it out in Vidyaranya Viveka. Well, maybe it's not written by Vidyaranya, there is a little controversy. But the 5 factors, Asti Bhati Priyam Nama Rupa. So existence, appearance, and the dearness or attraction for us, and name and form. So Asti Bhati Priyam is common to everything. And name and form is the differentiating factor. So you analyze this. In every experience, you have these 5 things. 3 of them, Adyatrayam Brahma Rupam, Tatodvayam Jagat Rupam. Name and form is called Jagat. And they have no existence apart from the screen, from Brahman. Without the screen, no movie. Without existence, no universe. So that the screen itself, existence itself, he says, Adhunapi, right now, in the middle of samsara, you don't have to wait for Mahapralaya, when the whole name and form will be removed. Only Sat will be there. Don't have to wait for that. You don't have to wait for Nirvikalpa Samadhi, when all the name and form will be removed. Only Sat will be there. You don't have to wait for that. Right now, in the middle of the movie, is the screen there or not? Although you can't notice it separately. Is it there or not? Certainly it is there. How do you know? Because I'm seeing the movie. In the same way, because I'm experiencing the world, Sat is there as existence, as isness. In every experience, Sat is being revealed. Just as in every experience of the pot, clay alone is being revealed. In every experience of the wave, water alone is being revealed. In every experience of the universe, Sat alone is being revealed. Adhunapi asya tadriktvam. Exactly in the same way as it existed before the creation of the universe, Sat is still there. Absolutely untouched, pure being is still there. Very important point for us. Why? To be enlightened, you don't have to remove the universe. This is an important thing which comes out in Advaita Vedanta as against Patanjali Yoga or Sankhya. In Patanjali Yoga or Sankhya, Prakriti and Purusha have to be separated for enlightenment. Prakriti is separate, Purusha is separate. Yoga accomplishes that through Asampragyata Samadhi. In Advaita Vedanta, one sadhu put it very well in Uttarakhand. Advait pratiti ko mitane ke liye nahi hai. Advaita is not meant for erasing your experience of the universe. Advait aapko pratiti mein nirbad banata hai. Vyavahar mein nirbad banata hai. What a beautiful statement. Advaita makes you, there's no way of translating, nirbada, limitless, unafraid, free, in vyavahara, in your very existence, in the body, in family, in so-called, in all this name and form, in life and in death. It makes you absolutely free, absolutely fearless, absolutely happy and relaxed. Because you know, adhunapi, in the midst of this storm going on, I am that. And that alone exists. Tadriktvam asti. Brahman alone exists. Although it appears to be a tragedy or comedy, screen alone exists. Whether it's a tragedy movie or a comedy movie, what is there actually? Screen. If you go and touch it, you will not touch the hero or the villain or car or there's a huge explosion. Is the screen burned? Not at all. Not even a bit. There is a huge flood in the movie. Is the screen wet? Not even one drop of water is there. Similarly, from the perspective of Sat, nothing at all, no problem at all is there. You don't have to wipe out your experience of the universe. You don't have to wait for Mahapralaya for liberation. You don't have to wait for Samadhi for liberation. You don't have to wait for Sushupti for liberation. Liberation is here and now, ever present. It is your own nature. It is our spiritual heritage. You just have to claim it. So Advaita makes it so direct, unconditional. So no, at least it depends on knowledge. We must get Brahma Jnana. Liberation does not depend on knowledge. Your dukkha nivritti depends on knowledge. Your liberation is assured for you. You are mukta already. Buddha mukta swabhav. But ignorance is dispelled by knowledge. And the result of ignorance, sorrow, that is dispelled by knowledge. So this is Sat. That Sat is called Tat in the Tattvamasi. Now sixth verse will take care of next word, Tvam. Tvam. Sixth verse. Shrotur dehindriyatitam vastuatra tvam paderitam ekata grahyate siti tadaikyam anubhuyatam. So this oneness of Tat and Tvam. What is Tvam? Shrotur deha indriya atitam vastu atra tvam paderitam. By the word Tvam, what is meant? You Shvetaketu, that is only Vachyartha. You, this young man, that is Tvam, you are being mentioned as you, that is only Vachyartha. That is not the actual meaning of Tvam. The actual meaning of Tvam is Shrotu Deha Indriya Atitam Vastu. The Vastu, the reality which in you, your reality which transcends your body mind. Pancha Kosha Vilakshana Atma. Deha Traya Vilakshana Atma. Avasthatraya Sakshi Atma. So when I say Tvam, when the Guru says Tvam to the disciple, immediate understanding is I, this fellow. And the Lakshyartha, which you get by Jahada Jahad Lakshana, technical, that what we did yesterday. The Lakshyartha is not the body, not the prana, not the mind, not the buddhi, not even the causal state, the Anandamaya. Pancha Kosha Vilakshana, the Sakshi, the witness of the five. Annamaya, Pranamaya, Manomaya, Vijnanamaya, Anandamaya, Vilakshana Atma, Pancha Kosha Sakshi Atma, that consciousness, which is the witness of all of them. Not the consciousness which is involved in Vijnanamaya, that's already empirical consciousness, but the consciousness which is the witness and illuminer of the five sheets, that is called Deha Indriya Atitam Vastu. So Atitam does not mean something outside, and from this body is there and the Atma is somewhere there. No, it is right here. Just like I will say water is the Atitam Vastu of wave. In the wave there is water only, but water transcends the wave. In what sense? Before the wave it was water, during the wave it is water, and it is nothing but water at that time. It only appears to be a wave. Nama Rupa Vyavahara, name, form and function is of a wave. And when the wave form subsides, still we continue to be water. Water transcends the name and form of wave. Similarly, Chit or Sat transcends the name and form of body mind. So the consciousness which is the witness of body mind and the pure existence which is the ground of this universe, he will say Tat Tvamasi. Lakshyartha of Tat, pure being. Lakshyartha of Tvam, pure awareness, witness consciousness. The two are same. Ekata grahyate asiti. When you say Tat Tvam Asi, the two are one. Lakshyartha of Tat, pure being or Sat. Lakshyartha of Tvam, pure consciousness, Sakshi, Chaitanyam. Ekamasi. Tat is Tvam. You are that, or thou art that. Tadaikyam anubhuyatam. Here is the question which is again and again being asked. He says, you have to experience this oneness. What do you mean experience this oneness? Careful here. If you say, now I have read this, now I have to sit in Nirvikalpa Samadhi and experience it, then Advaita Siddhanta will be in trouble. Experience this oneness means already this oneness is there. Already the experience of oneness also is there. It has to be uncovered. Shankaracharya, in his commentary on the Isha Upanishad, Ishavasyamidam Sarvam, there he says that Ishavasyam idam sarum yat kincha jagatyam jagat. So Ishavasyam, everything is covered by the Lord. When Shankaracharya says the Lord is in everything, Isha is in everything. Vasyam means to be covered. This is to be covered means to be uncovered. Already there. The Lord is covering everything actually, but it has to be uncovered. And uncovered means to be discovered. So in the same way, Sat is there everywhere. It has to be discovered by a process. So Aikyam Anubhuyatam means not a new experience. Very important. Not that you will have to have, now I have got a lot of experiences, now I will have a new experience called Aikya experience. No, Aikya experience actually already is there. It has to be just uncovered or discovered. And Vedanta helps you to do that. All right. That is the famous Tattvamasi. Now let us go on to the next one. The last one, Ayam Atma Brahma from Mandukya Upanishad. Atharva Veda Mahavakya. By now we have got the hang of it. Take the Mahavakya, one word will definitely mean Jiva, me, this fellow. One word will mean Ishvara. The two are said to be one. They cannot be one. Jiva and Ishvara never one. So we have to go from Vachyartha to Lakshyartha, and Lakshyartha has to be taken by this Jahad Ajahad Lakshana. I means not body mind, but witness consciousness. God does not mean Satchidananda with Maya, but pure being only. And the two are one. And that is already an established fact, and I have to note this fact, recognize this fact, stay with this fact. The staying with this fact is called Nididhyasana. We will talk about that. Now, I am Atma Brahma. This very self is Brahman. I am, what a beautiful indication. I am means Anguli Nirdesha, this one. I am normally refers to something present here. This book can be called I am, this one. But even closer than this, not even this body, even closer than this, not even the mind, even closer, no zero distance. I myself is meant by I am. I am Atma Brahma. Number 7. Swaprakasha parokshatvam ayam ityuktito matam ahankaradi dehantat pratyagatmeti giyate. So first he is explaining the meaning of I am Atma. Then the next verse he will explain Brahma. I am Atma Brahma. What is I am Atma? He says Swaprakasha aparoksha. Swaprakasha, very important word in Advaita Vedanta. Self-luminous. There is only one thing self-luminous. You know what? You. Luminous means that which has its own light. So self-luminous means that which reveals other things and also reveals itself. So the bulb, the shining bulb here, when the room was in darkness, when I switch on this bulb, it reveals everything in this room. But the bulb itself, that shining bulb, we don't need one more bulb to reveal it. It reveals itself and everything else. So it is called luminous or self-luminous, Swaprakasha. But is it really Swaprakasha? No. Why? The moment I close my eyes, no luminosity, dark. Open my eyes, I can see light. So eyes are revealing that light bulb. Light bulb may be revealing everything, but it will not work without my eyes. But eyes are open, eyes are functioning. My mind is distracted. I'm not seeing the light. I'm not seeing the room. So mind revealing the eyes, and eyes are revealing that bulb, and that bulb is revealing everything else. Who is revealing? Mind alone. But the mind itself, every content of the mind, every movement, every vritti in the mind is revealed by consciousness. Chaitanya. That Chaitanya is the only Swaprakasha. Upanishad speaks about it again and again. Beautiful poetry. Na tatra suryo bhati na chandra tarakam nema vidyuto bhanti kuto yamadni tameva bhantam anubhati sarvam tasya bhasa sarvam idam vibhati. What beautiful poetry. Kathopanishad, Mundaka, it reveals that sun does not reveal it, moon does not reveal it, lightning does not reveal it, stars do not reveal it, fire, what can mere mortal fire do? But that shining, everything else shines. By its light, everything is lit up. You shining, you means not your shining face. You, the consciousness, you shining, everything else shines. By your light, everything is lit up. What do you mean everything? By you By your light, first your mind is lit up. And then with the lit up mind, you are aware of the body and the senses. With the body and senses, by that you, the consciousness, the body and senses can now sense. They see forms, hear sound, smell fragrance, taste pleasant and unpleasant taste, touch hard and soft, hot and cold. They can think, infer, imagine, create. All of those things are possible because of one light shining there, which is you. You shining, everything shines. By your light, everything is lit up. That light is, that is consciousness, that is our real nature. So that is called Swaprakasha. Aparoksha, directly revealed. So three things, remember: Paroksha, Pratyaksha, Aparoksha. So the Pratyaksha means that which is revealed by our senses. So I see forms, Pratyaksha. I hear sound, Pratyaksha. I smell, I taste, I touch, all Pratyaksha. Everything directly revealed to my senses is Pratyaksha. But that which is beyond the limit of my senses, there are some things I cannot see. I have to believe, or I have to infer. Lot of scientific truth is inference. You test, gather data, and then make hypothesis and test for that. You get inferential knowledge. That is Paroksha Jnana, not Pratyaksha. Or books. So here Paroksha Jnana will include religion and science both. Heaven exists. By this yajna, you will go to heaven after death. What kind of knowledge? Paroksha. At least until we go there and see heaven for ourselves, until that, we are not aiming for that. Remember, as Advaitins, we are aiming for Sadhyo Mukti, moksha here and now, in this life itself. But if you go to heaven and see, then heaven will become Pratyaksha. Until that time, book tells me that there is heaven. Paroksha. Or by inference, scientific methodology, I've come to an understanding of certain things. Paroksha. So Pratyaksha and Paroksha. Now, my own existence, is it Pratyaksha or Paroksha? Do I believe in it? So, were you there in the Zoom meeting? Prabhuji will look into the names of the people attending and then he will say, yes, he was there or she was there. So, look at the names and then report. But if I ask you, were you there in the Zoom meeting? Will you look at it? Will you say, wait, Swami, let me see the names. Am I there or not? Then I'll say, yes, I am there. No, you will never do that. You are directly aware of your own presence. That is called Aparoksha. Not Paroksha, but not Pratyaksha also. More than Pratyaksha. More than Paroksha, more than Pratyaksha. Directly revealed to yourself. Atma is always directly revealed. A little distinction here. Little distinction. Our minds, the vrittis of the mind, thoughts in the mind, they are also directly revealed. When my thought comes, good thought, bad thought, Vedantic thought, worldly thought, how do I know the thought? It is directly revealed by Sakshi. The Sakshi Pratyaksha, directly Sakshi shines on it. So the contents of my mind are directly revealed to me. So the contents of my mind are Aparoksha. They do not depend on sense organs. They do not depend on inference or belief. They are directly revealed to the Sakshi all the time. My own contents of my mind. If you make that distinction, then the Sakshi will be not only Aparoksha, it's called Sakshad Aparoksha. Upanishadic language, Sakshad Aparokshad. Atma is direct immediate. Direct immediate, Sakshad Aparoksha. If you make that distinction, then four distinctions will be there. Atma is Sakshad Aparoksha. Mind, Antakarana contents are Aparoksha. And sense perceptions are Pratyaksha. And the distant things which you believe or you infer are Paroksha. Anyway, but Atma is Sakshad Aparoksha or just Aparoksha. He says, Swaprakasha Aparoksha. Aparokshatvam. Ayam. The word Ayam means all of this. See, Swaprakashatva is a huge subject. What is the nature of the Atma? The most direct word is Swaprakasha, directly available to us right now. If you can catch that, illumination is immediate. The directly shining Atma right now, our own nature. Definition of Swaprakasha. In Chitsukacharya, he spends page after page, 11 definition of Swaprakasha. What is Swaprakasha? How to define that? So, Swaprakasha Aparokshatvam. Ayam iti uktita matam. By this saying, this word, I am Atma. I am means all of this, what we just discussed now. Ahankaradi dehantat pratyagatmeti kiyate. So this is the one indwelling consciousness in the body mind. What is body mind? From ahankara up to physical body. From Anandamaya is not mentioned. From Vijnanamaya up to Annamaya. But you have to include Anandamaya also. The whole Panchakosha is body mind system. And this one is the shining consciousness which illumines everything. This is the meaning of Ayam Atma. If you go to Mandukya Upanishad where all this is found, Ayam Atma Brahma. Remember, so Ayam Atma Chatushpat. This self has four aspects. Four aspects, then we all know, it will go on to describe the waker who experiences the world through senses and a material world outside. The waker and the waker's world. Vishwa and Jagrat Prapancha. That is one aspect of the self. Second aspect, Taijasa, the dreamer, and experiencing a dream world projected in the mind without any senses, just in the mind. So Taijasa and Swapna Prapancha, the world of dreams. Second aspect of the self. Third aspect, the deep sleeper, Pragya, experiencing the blankness, the potential blankness of deep sleep. Sushupti Prapancha, I will not say. It is the merged, resolved state of samsara and Sushupti. This is the third aspect of the self. But the self in itself, what is meant by Ayam Atma here, is the fourth, Turiya, which is shining in and through all of this. To whom these three are revealed. In the causal state, the same Turiya is Pragya and Sushupti Avastha. In the subtle state, the same Turiya is Taijasa and the Swapna Prapancha. And in the gross state, the same Turiya now appears as the Vishwa and the Jagrat Prapancha. But in and through all of them is this fourth, the fourth aspect of the self. Now, very interesting. Now we know we have got the machinery in our hands, the tools, Vatyartha and Lakshyartha. Vatyartha of Atma, Vatyartha, direct meaning of Atma, is that which we are all familiar. What we all know it. What is it? Right now, Waker and my world. I am Vishwa and this is the Jagrat. When I dream, I am the Taijasa and that is my Swapna. When I am in deep sleep, I am Pragya and that is my deep sleep. This is called Vatyartha of Atma in Mandukya terms. What is the Lakshyartha, the real Atma? The fourth. Not the three, the fourth, which is Turiyam. So what Vedanta does is, the ego, which is connected with the three, waker, dreamer, deep sleeper, waking world, dream world, deep sleep world. And the ego is connected with the three, samsara. What Vedanta does is, it detaches the reference of the I, aham, and connects it with the Turiyam. With I am Brahman. Not waking, dreaming, deep sleep. Not Vishwa, Taijasa, Pragya. Not Jagrat, Swapna, Sushupti. Not the Sthula, gross, Sukshma, subtle, Karana, causal. Not those three. They are appearances, name and form. They are Maya. Shankaracharya says, Maya Sankhya Turiyam. Maya Sankhya Turiyam means counting through Maya, Atma becomes fourth. This one is fourth. But actually Atma is the one. There's only one reality. Those three are not real. They are appearances, name and form. Vatyartha is an appearance. Lakshyartha is the reality. Turiya is the Lakshyartha. Now, that is in the Mandukya terms. Number 8, Ayam Atma Brahma. So what is the meaning of Brahma? By now we know the reality of the entire universe. Drishyamanasya sarvasya jagatastattvamiryate brahma shabdena tad brahma swaprakashatma rupakam. The essence of the entire universe, name and form universe, is denoted by the word Brahman. That Brahman is of the nature of self-luminous Atma. Self-luminous Atma, Swaprakasha Aparoksha Atma, which we just discussed, the Turiya, which is the witness of the three states. That Turiya is the reality of the entire universe. Drishyamanasya sarvasya. Whatever you see, not just see, hear, smell, taste, touch, with our scientific investigation, furthest galaxy and the smallest particle, quarks and all, whatever you discover, one thing is common to all of them. They exist. You say, so yes, of course they exist. That's why we are discovering them. No, their essence, their reality is existence. We are investigating what is this universe. We have gone from matter to particles of matter, from atoms to subatomic particles, to protons and neutrons, to quarks. Now you're talking about string theory. One philosopher, Galen Strawson, who is in UT, Texas. So he says the hard problem of matter. He says there is no hard problem of consciousness. Consciousness is most evident. We are all aware of consciousness. It is matter which is the mystery. He says as we investigate matter, as physics investigates matter, matter is disappearing before our very eyes. Where is matter? What is the truth about matter? Is space, time, matter, energy, which is so real to us. The more you investigate, the more mysterious it is becoming. There is this book, Why Does the World Exist? Jim Holt, I highly recommend it. Very interesting book. So this journalist, Jim Holt, who goes around and asks scientists, mathematicians, the leading thinkers of today, Sir Roger Penrose and so many people, philosophers, scientists, mathematicians, philosophers, information science specialists, like computer scientists, religious people, theologians. He asked this question, why does anything exist at all? Not that why this thing exists or that thing exists. Science can answer that. Why does it could be nothing. Why is there something rather than nothing? The final question, why does this universe exist? So in one of the chapters, he considers that the Greek idea for reality, word for reality is hylomorph, structure and stuff. So here is a structure and the stuff is paper. The structure is this book. So structure, hylo and morph, that is structure and stuff. But he says when we investigate matter, the physical universe, all we are getting is structures. The stuff of the universe is becoming smaller and smaller and disappearing. Where is the stuff here? We are only getting structure. When I read that, what is structure? Name and form. The more you investigate the universe, what you discover more and more name and form only. The reality of that name and form, what gives it that name and form, is disappearing before our very eyes. Stephen Hawking called it, what gives fire to the equations? Equations are describing the structure of the universe, how it functions. But what gives the reality to it? Vedanta says you give the reality to it. You, not this person, not even the scientist, the Sat, the Chit. This is what we have to discover. So in that book, you might be curious, does he talk about Vedanta? Because Vedanta is the ultimate answer to this question. What is this universe? What is the reality of this universe? Vedanta answers both of these questions. What is the reality of the universe and what is our reality? Where is this answer? Each Mahavakya gives you the answer. The reality of the universe is Tat. Your reality is Tvam. Lakshyartha, always Lakshyartha. Reality of the universe, Brahman. Reality of this, you Ayamatma. Always Mahavakya gives the answer to both of these questions. So does this book, Jim Holt's book, at all talk about Vedanta? At the end it does. He talks to one of the greatest American philosophers who passed away recently, Robert Nozick. He was a philosopher of my mind, Robert Nozick. I have not read any of his books, but one philosopher told me, leading philosopher said, oh Maharaj, he was an Advaitin, not in the formal sense, but he was fascinated by Vedanta. So he was asked by this Jim Holt, what do you think? And Robert Nozick says, perhaps the ancient Hindus were right. And Brahman is the only reality of this universe. And then Jim Holt, I think one or two lines he says, but then he says, no, this is a crazy idea that you are the reality of the universe, how it can be. And then he goes on, some other theory he goes on. He touches upon it once. What is crazy about it and why is it wrong? He has no answer to that, but he just moves on. So anyway, now in the last verse, he completes the analysis of Ayamatma Brahma. Drishyamanasya sarvasya, all that we experience in this universe, past, present and future, large and small, all names and forms, the reality of that, Jagata Tattvam yiryate Brahma Shabdena. The reality of this universe. What is that reality? You can keep on saying Brahma, whatnot, but what is it made of? Sat, being, isness. We live in an ocean of isness. Tad Brahma. That Brahman is, so what is it really? Swaprakash Atma Rupakam. You, the Swaprakash Aparokshatma, that is Brahman only. What I said earlier, Mahavakya takes your absolutely certain shining existence and shows it to be infinite. No limitation. I am the pure consciousness. It's not so difficult to understand. I'm the witness of body and mind, but I have a sense of limitation. What's the sense of limitation? I am the witness consciousness, but apart from me, clearly mind is there, body is there, and so many billions of other entities are there. I am the witness of all of this, but they are all apart from me. This is Sankhya. When you realize they are not apart from you. If you ask, how do I realize I am consciousness? I understand, but this universe is not apart from me. It is I alone. How will I realize that? By shouting does not make it so. Then you have to ask yourself the question, what is the relationship between consciousness and object? What is the relationship between subject and object? The two are separate, easy to understand. That we have already done. Drigdrishya Viveka, Panchakosha Viveka, Avasthatraya Viveka, all of that shows you consciousness is separate from the object. You're separate. You're the witness of it. They are changing. You are unchanging. You are the subject. That is the object. You are consciousness. That is jada. The Chaitanya is jada. So they're different. But different. What relation is there between them? Multiple answers. So sadhus put it in very nice ways. First, he says, first understand you are different from it. पहले विवेक कर लो. उसके बाद नौटंकी है या सिनेमा है ये बाद में पता चलेगा. What does it mean? Very interesting. First, you realize you are in the audience. You are not part of the drama. Suffering is caused by drama. Samsara is a drama. If you can see that you are the witness of this drama, you are witness of the drama outside, witness of the drama of this body, witness of the drama of this mind. Daily, two shows. Jagrat Swapna show is there, and then little gap is there, Sushupti. And then again the new show will start. You are the witness of this. If you can realize, first of all, you will be safe. But what are you witnessing? Are you witnessing Nautanki or a theater in which actual stage is there in front of you? Actors are coming and doing something. They're separate from you. That's one. Or is it a cinema? Nothing is actually there. Just projection of light and sound. तो नौटंकी है या सिनेमा है ये बाद में पता चलेगा. पहले अपना विवेक कर लो. You are in the audience. You are not part of the drama. You will be saved from the suffering. Now this drama which is going on, is it a nautanki? If you say yes it is, then you are Sankhyan. Purusha is watching Prakriti. Prakriti is real. But if you say it's a cinema and it's appearing in me, I am the screen, the awareness in which a cinema is appearing, like a dream, then you are Advaitin. If you are watching cinema, Advaitin. Watching a Nautanki, a Broadway show, then Sankhyan. Okay, so this is the meaning. Now, let me take the questions.
Namaste, Swamiji. I am a newcomer to this Advaita Vedanta philosophy. I am a student of Bhagavad Gita.
Yes.
And I have known these four Mahavakyas before, and I tried to understand them as much as I could from your discourse. When I cross-referred to Bhagavad Gita, I came across two verses from chapter 2. And I asked this question because Bhagavad Gita, they say, is Sarvopanishado Gavo. As that verse says, it is the essence of all the Upanishads.
Yes, yes.
And Upanishads are part of a Jnana Kanda of every Veda, as I understand from what you said today. There is Karma Kanda followed by Jnana Kanda in every Veda. Is that correct understanding?
Correct. Yes, certainly.
Okay. So the two verses are from chapter 2, number 45 Traigunya Vishaya Veda Nistraigunya Bhavarjuna Nirdvandvo Nitya Satvastho Niryoga Kshema Atmavan. And next one, Yavan Artha Udapane Sarvatas Samplutodake Tavan Sarveshu Vedeshu Brahmanasya Vijanatah. When I take the literal meaning of this, they are kind of putting down the Vedas. But from what I heard these 2 days and what I know from 4 Mahavakyas, Vedas are the essence of our understanding of Advaita Vedanta. So how do I reconcile this?
Right. Let me give you in gist the answer. You will understand. You have been studying the Gita for so long. So what is meant there? It is a direct indication towards Advaitic knowledge is given there. When he says Nistraigunya Bhavarjuna, Traigunya Vishaya Veda, what it is referring to is the Karma Kanda of the Vedas. The Karma Kanda of the Vedas refers to things which you can get in Prakriti, in this world and in the next world. Ihamutra Phalabhoga. In this world, whatever you can get, or Swarga, which you can get after death. These are the things which are referred to in Karma Kanda. The yajnas. Somebody wants victory, somebody wants rainfall, somebody wants to conquer other kingdoms or wants children. So all these stories we read, they perform the yajnas. All the yajnas will give you ihaloka phalam and also paraloka. By performing this, you get enough punyam, which takes you after death to give you the experience of various heavens. All these are traigunya vishaya. They are all made of 3 gunas. Sattva, rajas, tamas. But real knowledge, the Atman, is beyond the 3 gunas. Is the witness of the 3 gunas, is the adhara, the ground of the 3 gunas. 3 gunas are Maya, and Atman is beyond Maya. Krishna is telling Arjuna, the first portion of the Vedas, which you are very well acquainted, all the yajnas which you have been doing as a religious Kshatriya, they're all about this world or the next world. You transcend all this and realize your Atman, which is witness of the three gunas. Now, how do you do that? When you realize that, what will be the result? Yavan Arthodapani, in various little ponds and wells and tap, whatever water you get, water for washing, water for cooking, water for bathing, water for cleaning. When there is a flood of water all around, you don't have to go to various little sources. Everything you get all at once. What does it mean? All the desires of our life, which you are satisfying in various ways, by worldly and Vedic means. By worldly means by earning money, studying, and enjoying life. Vedic means by performing various yajnas and getting the results. Little by little you are satisfying. And at once you cannot satisfy all desires. And there is no end to this process. This is samsara, this life. After that going to heaven, again coming back to this life. This is the cycle of samsara. This is what is going on. But at one stroke, you can get everything. You can satisfy all desires. Just like when there is flood water, you don't have to go to various little outlets for water. You can get all water for cooking, bathing, drinking, washing. Everything can be got. Everything is available all together. Similarly, you can get it by becoming Brahmagyani. Brahmanasya Vijanata. The Brahmagyani, the one who has realized Brahman, I am that. All desires are satisfied at one stroke. Why? What does it mean? In Taittiriya Upanishad, Brahmananda Valli, So Ashnute Sarvan Kaman Saha Brahmana Vipaschiteti. By realizing Brahman, all desires of the heart are fulfilled. Does it mean that your Christmas wish list, New Year shopping, everything you will get, what is called Black Friday shopping, all items will arrive by Amazon Prime together? Does that mean, is that Brahmagyana? No. You will realize something, your own infinite nature, after which you have no more desires. Nothing else matters after that. Yang labdvana chaparam labham manyate tatodhikam. In the Gita, by realizing which nothing higher remains to be got. Yasmin sthito dukkhena guruna api na vichalyate. By being established in which your nature as Brahman, the heaviest of sorrows. Note, sorrows will come at the level of body, problems will come. Body will age. Disease will come. One day body will die. It is nothing to you. Na gurunapi vichalit, dukkhena gurunapi vichalyate. Heaviest of tragedy cannot shake you. That you have got. After this, what remains to be got? Nothing at all. So that is the meaning.
Next question is from Jayesh Dalalji. Nididhyasana is defined as contemplation. To me, that sounds very similar to meditation. Please explain one more time the differences between the two terms.
Yes. Nididhyasana or contemplation is actually meditation, but there is a very big difference between yogic meditation or meditation in bhakti traditions and the Nididhyasana of Advaita Vedanta. First of all, we must understand the purposes are different. They may look alike. In both cases, Advaita Vedanta is sitting like this and the yogi is also sitting like this. So they may look alike from outside. But the purposes are different, techniques are different. So in yogic meditation, the idea is disturbance of the mind is the obstacle. If the mind can be calmed, enlightenment will be gained. Yogas chitta vritti nirodhaha. The cessation of the vrittis of the mind, first by making it one-pointed, savikalpa samadhi or sampragyata samadhi, and then removing the vrittis altogether in intense absorption, asampragyata samadhi. What will happen? What is the result of this? Tada drashtu swarupe avasthanam. Then the witness consciousness will be realized in its own nature, that it is the consciousness apart from the mind. A mind is absolutely calm, and apart from the mind you realize. Swami Vivekananda, in his commentary on Raja Yoga, which is Patanjali Yoga Sutra, he says, like a lake, when the lake is absolutely clear, water is pure and still, then you can see right through to the bottom of the lake. Similarly, you experience that you are apart from the mind, which is absolutely calm. Otherwise, what happens if the mind is restless? Next sutra says, Vritti sarupyam itaratra. Other than the calm yogic samadhi state of the mind, when the mind is into several vrittis, we become identified with it. I am angry, I am happy, I am miserable, I am curious, I am bored, or in identification with body, I am feeling sick, I am feeling tired. I, the consciousness, who cannot be happy or sad, who cannot be sick or tired, I impose all of this upon myself. Vritti sarupyam itaratra. So the only solution is to calm down the mind. Says who? Yogi. Not Advaitin. Advaita position is quite different. Advaita position is that, O yogi, when the mind is calm, you are witness consciousness. When the mind is not calm, what are you? Oh, I just said, Vritti sarupyam itaratra, become identified. Even when you are identified with the movements of the mind, are you the witness consciousness or not? Or have you become the mind? If you say you are the witness consciousness, then actually, whether the mind is at rest or the mind is moving, whether the mind is happy or it is meditative and peaceful, or it is disturbed, in every case, you are exactly the same witness consciousness. And this has to be discovered through Viveka. If you want to calm down the mind, if you want to quieten the mind in samadhi, you are welcome. It is a very good thing. But that is not the way. Advaita Vedanta says, by a Viveka, a Mahavakya Viveka, by an inquiry, you must discover that you are the witness consciousness. Just sitting quietly will not help. That is the Advaitic objection. So Advaitic meditation is first do Shravana. Very big difference. In yogic meditation, you must study the Yoga Sutras, the commentaries, then start practicing. If you don't practice yogic meditation, nothing will be gained. Most important thing in yogic meditation is to practice the meditation, not to read the book. That is preliminary. But in Advaita, the most important thing is Shravana. You must hear it again and again. A fact is being told to you. Just by hearing about Samadhi will not get Samadhi. You have to practice Samadhi. But by hearing about the Atman, you will realize because you are already the Atman. It is just not clear to us yet. It becomes clear by repeated hearing. So Shravana is most important. And Manana and Nididhyasana, meditation, Vedantic meditation is only for removing problems, obstacles. When we do Shravana, two kinds of problems come. They are called Asambhavana and Viparita Bhavana. Asambhavana, yes, I know you are telling me that I am Swaprakash, Aparoksha, Chaitanya. I don't think so. I'm this fellow. Impossibility. What you're saying is not possible. That problem is tackled by Mananam. Tell me, where is it? Where are you getting stuck? Where is your objection? Every objection is taken up and answered. Mananam. Once objections are answered, we get conviction. I not only know the teaching, but I'm now convinced about it. Now what is your problem? Still does not feel real. I still behave like body and mind. I understand I am the witness consciousness, but I react to life as if I am this body. This is called viparita bhavana, contrary tendency. What you understand, what you are convinced about, your behavior is opposite to it. So how do you take care of that? Why is it happening? Because of conditioning. Remember, body and mind are machines. They have been conditioned through many lives of practice of being jiva. Very difficult to give up. Inertia of motion. So that has to be deconditioned, dehypnotized in Vivekananda's language. So dehypnotization is to stay with what you have heard and you're convinced with, stay with it. Notice, keep noticing. I am the witness consciousness. That is nididhyasana. One big practical difference between yogic meditation and nididhyasana. Yogic meditation, you have to sit quietly and meditate. Not only yama niyama, but asana. Brahma Sutra, this is Sutra. Asino sambhavat. Please practice meditation while sitting. So no, Buddhist walking meditation is there. Yes, walking meditation is there. That also in a very safe environment. Don't practice walking meditation on Broadway. You get knocked over. So, asino sambhavat is a long story about it. Why meditation should be practiced while sitting. So posture is important, breathing is important. Then you have to withdraw the mind. Asana, pranayama, pratyahara. Then only dharana, dhyana, samadhi. Focus, meditate, samadhi. That is yogic meditation. But Vedantic, Advaitic, Nididhyasana is different. You can do all of that and do very good Advaitic Nididhyasana, but you need not. With eyes open, one can do Advaitic. Right now itself, one can do Advaitic Nididhyasana while watching the computer. How? There are so many good indicators. In Drigdrishya Viveka, you will find 6 methods of Advaitic Nididhyasana. Drigdrishya Viveka at the end. Aparoksha Anubhuti, you will find 15 methods. 15 methods at the end. From verse number 100 onwards, Shankaracharya gives 15 methods. And quite mischievously, he compares with yogic meditation. He says, pranayama. Each of them, he just takes the yogic names but gives Advaitic meaning. He takes yogic terms and gives Nididhyasana meanings. How? Pranayama. We know that breath control is important for meditation. When the mind is restless, breath will be restless also. So when the breath is calmed, mind also will be calm. How do you calm the breath? Regular, even breathing. See, all of these are good. When I'm talking in favor of Nididhyasana, I'm not denying yogic meditation. In the Aparoksha Anubhuti, Shankaracharya at the end, he says, I may have made fun of it. But remember, yogic meditation is very good for beginners. It is a good foundation for all of us. Most of us, our minds are restless. So yogic meditation is very good as a good practice. So pranayama, for example, let me give you one example, how the two differ. Pranayama. In yogic meditation, pranayama we know, puraka, kumbhaka, rechaka. Puraka. You breathe in, then hold the breath. You have a count. You breathe in for 2 counts, hold the breath for 8 counts, and then release for 4 counts. Puraka. Then kumbhaka, hold. Then rechaka. You breathe out. Again puraka. Hold. Breathe out. Rechaka. This is yogic meditation, pranayama. Minimum pranayama. There are higher and higher levels. And it will very quickly calm down your mind. But that's the only effect. It will calm down your mind. What is Advaitic pranayama? Nididhyasana. So Shankaracharya, he says, breathing out. Advaitic pranayam starts with breathing out. What is breathing out? As I breathe out, I realize that I am not this world. World Jagat Mithya. I am not the body, not the mind, not the intellect. Pancha kosha vilakshana. I am not neti. Breathing out. Then breathing in. Aham Brahmasmi. I am Brahman. Then holding the breath. I stay as Brahman. Now remember, it has actually nothing to do with the breath. Your breathing has no connection. It's just upalakshana matra. That you realize I am not body mind. I am the witness consciousness. This witness consciousness is Brahman. Stay there. That is Vedantic pranayama, Advaitic pranayama. It's an entirely exercise in cognition and understanding. And then, of course, he gives a little twist. At the end verse, he says, Anyastu ghrana pidanam. And what those fellows do, it is torture of the nose. They're torturing the nose. Yogis are torturing the nose like this. So this is nididhyasana. Remember, not making fun of yogic pranayama or yogic meditation. Very, very useful, very helpful, very much recommended. But you must, the question is good, one must understand the difference between Advaita and yoga. I met one sadhu, Shiva Harigiri, young boy, Nepali boy in Gangotri. So he used to live in a cave and meditate. I asked him, what are you trying to do? Samadhi laga rahe hain. I'm trying to attain samadhi. And he said, once I nearly came close to samadhi, but I became scared and I jumped up and ran away. So if you jump up and run away, you'll never attain samadhi. Anyway, then I asked him, Aapko Vedant kaisa lagta hai? Advait. So he said, how do you like Vedanta, Advaita? Because I know before taking sannyas, they have to do minimum, at least to read the Upanishads, Bhashyas, and these have to read once at least. And many of them don't know Sanskrit, so they have to read in Hindi, at least those Gita, Press, Gorakhpur books are there. That much also is they can do. So he must have read. I said, Vedanta Advaita kaise lagta hai? Shiva Hari Giri. See, his Giri means his Dashnami Sampradaya. So he actually belongs to the Advaita Parampara. Advaita kaise lagta? How do you like Vedanta Advaita? He said, हाँ ठीक है, वो बहुत बात करते हैं, अनुभूति नहीं है उनका. They talk a lot, they don't have. So when he sees us, he'll be very critical. You fellows are just on Zoom, you're sitting and talking. You should do samadhi lagana chahiye. So that's a yogic understanding. Next. In the Mahavakyas, the equation is done with Saguna Brahman and not Nirguna Brahman. Please help us understand. Yes. So would it not be easier? Somebody should have thought of this, that would it not be easier? Say, Aham Brahmasmi. I am Nirguna Brahman. Finished. All this Jahad Lakshana, Ajahad Lakshana, pulling out hairs, hair splitting discussion. What is the need of all of this? I am Brahman. Finished. It will not work. It will not work. Why? The moment I say I, what do I mean? I mean body mind. Automatically. That is Vachyartha. You have to go from there to I am not the body, not the prana, not the mind, not the intellect, not the causal sheath. I am Panchakosha, Sakshi Atma. Then you're going to Lakshyartha only. So Lakshyartha you have to take. Otherwise the equation is not possible. Someone might say, all right, take Lakshyartha for I understand, to vichara for oneself, then arrive at pure consciousness and say that is it. I am pure consciousness. Why go to Jagat Karanam Brahma and all of that, bring all that in? If you do that, what will happen? I asked a great scholar once. I asked, why not do just Atma Vichara? He said, no, that is what yogis do or Sankhyans do. You will arrive, at that point you will arrive as the witness consciousness of this body. Fine, not a minor thing, a big step. But then that's the end of it. You will feel mind and body are Brahman, because the words cannot denote Nirguna Brahman. Language cannot refer to Nirguna Brahman directly. Shankaracharya, he clearly says, Shabda Pravritti Nimitta Rahitatvat Abhyapadeshyam. Brahman, Turiyam cannot be referred to by any word. Why? Because Nirguna Brahman is beyond all language. Why is it beyond all language? Language requires one or more of the five characteristics. We talked about this. Jati, Guna, Kriya, Sambandha, and Rudhi. None of them are present in Nirguna Brahman. So a word cannot directly refer to Nirguna Brahman. Just by saying Nirguna Brahman, you are not referring to anything. Those are just words. You have to take Lakshyartha there. very quickly. Words cannot refer to Nirguna Brahman. But Advaita Vedanta is all about Nirguna Brahman. Then Advaita Vedanta is only words. They're books. Panchadasi is book. Upanishads are texts. How are they referring to Nirguna Brahman then? So there are strategies. Vedanta has come up with extraordinary strategies thousands of years ago to refer to something that cannot be referred to express the inexpressible. How? One way we learned. Lakshyartha, implied meaning. Directly not. Directly what are you talking about? Tat Tvamasi. Tvam means Shvetaketu. No problem. Tat means the God who created the universe. Sat at the beginning of the universe. No problem. But by Lakshyartha, both are referring to Nirguna Brahman, Satchidananda. That you have to catch intuitively. What other strategy is there? One strategy is Neti Neti. They said, words cannot tell you what Nirguna Brahman is, but you can tell you what it is not. Not body, not mind, not intellect, not Prithvi, not Jala, not Vayu, Agni, Apa, Akasha. You can deny. Mano buddhyankara chittani naham, 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 naham. Neti Neti. That's one more strategy. Neti Neti, second strategy. Another strategy. Paradoxical language. Taddure, taddantike, tadduant, bahyata sarvasya. That is outside everything, that is innermost, that is farther than the farthest, nearer than the nearest. Tadejati, tannejati, that moves and it does not move. How is that possible? Greater than the greatest, smaller than the smallest. Paradoxical language, contradictory language. One sadhu said, Ramananda Saraswati, he said, दो विरुद्ध बात जब आपको पकड़ में आएगी, एक साथ पकड़ में आवेगी, अद्वैत पकड़ में आवेगा आपको. When two absolutely contradictory statements make perfect sense to you at the same time, you will get Advaita. Paradoxical language. How is it farther than the farthest, nearer than the nearest? The perfect sense is there. How? You explain, please. Yes. It is, Shankaracharya says, further than the farthest, for those who do not know it, it seems like a vague concept. Nearer than the nearest, for those who know it as Aham Brahmasmi. Shankaracharya explains. All of this contradictory language can be easily explained. He who sees action in inaction and inaction in action. Bhagavad Gita, contradictory language. But it is used to point to something that cannot be said directly. Zen language is also contradictory, but the technique is different there. There it is meant to, in Zen koans, it's meant to stop you from thinking, as in sort of short circuit the intellectual process. But Advaitic contradictory language is not meant to stop you from thinking. It's meant to point out something which underlies the contradiction. Okay. What other strategy? Storytelling. Storytelling. 10th man. Dashamastomasi. By that you are supposed to get it. What other strategy is there? Storytelling. Then so there's one more strategy I don't remember right now. So the different strategies have been evolved to deal with this problem of inexpressibility. All right. Next question.
My question is from certain passages in Yoga Vashishta you mentioned earlier, but I was studying it recently and I came across three different definitions of bondage and liberation, which I need some help from you to clarify or to reconcile. The first one comes almost in the beginning where sage Vishwamitra starts the discourse, and he says that the exhaustion of vasanas is liberation and the strengthening of vasanas is bondage. Then somewhere in the middle, there is another definition which sounds very Vedant Advaitic, which says that the existence of duality between the seer and the seen is bondage. And when that duality is dissolved, that is liberation. And then a third one I came across much later, which is, it says something like the existence of sankalpas in the mind, which to the best I could understand was ideation of objects given reality to objects, that is bondage, and the removal of sankalpas is liberation.
So there are these three passages that I came across, which on the surface, they are all defining bondage and liberation, but in very different ways. So
yes,
if you could reconcile them for me, I'd really appreciate it.
yes, these are very profound. I don't remember them, but it's good that you pointed them out. 3 ways. So one is vasanas. More vasanas we have, it is bondage. And removal of vasanas is liberation. Now, at one level, it is practice. At the level of our sadhana, it's a very good indicator. Minimize your desires. Minimize vasanas. Vasanas are the desires carried over from impressions of this life and past lives, which prompt us, which come up in the form of raga dvesha in our mind. If you can minimize them more and more, the mind becomes freer. You are freer of the bondage of samsara while remaining in the body, while remaining active. The less you want from the world, from people, the more free and calm you are. That's at the very most practical level. At the deep Advaitic level, at the yogic level, see, vasanas are which disturb the mind. Meditation is possible if vasanas are less. The disturbed mind cannot meditate. Mind which is stung by the desire for things outside. That is vasana. So meditation also becomes easier if lesser vasanas are there. Devotion. It is our pull to the world outside. People ask, devotion is supposed to be an easy path, but I don't feel devotion for God, for my Krishna, for my Lord Jagannath. I don't feel the devotion. How to feel devotion? Devotion is there, love is there, but it is flowing in 100 channels to the world. Money, son and daughter, grandchildren, property, all of this. Our love is divided in 100 streams through the world. All of them guaranteed to bring unhappiness. That is the tragedy. We want happiness from those sources, but they will bring unhappiness at the end. So why not reduce? Have good wishes, well wishes for everybody. Be a well wisher for everything, but your vasana is not in the world. Your desire is then you will see love, bhakti will come much more easily. At the deepest level, Advaitic level, real vasana shows giving reality to things. Only when there is something which can tempt me or scare me, then I have vasanas. But Advaita, when I am the infinite being, everything else is an appearance. There's nothing else apart from me. What can scare me? What can tempt me? Vasanas will disappear. Similarly, sankalpa. Sankalpa comes from vasanas, ideation about objects. Now, ideation will continue, even for Jivan Mukta, ideation will continue. But Jivan Mukta's ideation has no problem at all for the Jivan Mukta. We are bound by our ideation, by our thinking about the objects. It traps us in samsara. The Jivan Mukta knows that what he is thinking about is just name and form, is I myself appearing in that form. So all the thoughts in the mind of the Jivan Mukta, if at all the Jivan Mukta thinks, if at all, they might not think about the world at all. If at all, that is not a bondage for the Jivan Mukta. But for us, ideation is a bondage. For practical sense, less and less thinking about the world, but I cannot stop thinking. And think about God, think about Vedanta, repeat the mantra, something divine, keep the mind on that will not bind, that will free. And the last one is most important. Any difference between subject and object, seer and the seen, that is samsara. Swami, whole retreat, did you not say that I am different, drigdrishya, difference between drashta and drishya, difference between atma and anatma, difference between panchakosha and the atma? All the time you're differentiating between the subject and object. Now you're saying no difference. Differentiation between subject and object, this discrimination, this viveka is first step only. It is not Advaita. It is only first step. If you stop there, I've said again and again, it is Sankhya. One more step has to be taken. The object which you have discriminated, if you have discerned yourself apart from, that must now be seen as nothing apart from you. It is not a second thing apart from me. Then it will not tempt you. It will not scare you. One sadhu said, ये जो दृग्दृश्य करते रहते हैं ना, ये कच्चे वेदांती हैं. So those who go on talking about दृग्दृश्य, so this I think was referring to me only. They are unripe. They are not yet ripe. Kache Vedanti, absolutely right. Drigdrishya Viveka is only first step. Advaita is non-duality. It is not different. Drigdrishya Viveka, Viveka means difference. Once you differentiate the Sat Vastu, the Chid Vastu, then everything else becomes Avastu and is absorbed back into that. Non-duality is the result. That is Advaita. Oneness is Advaita. Non-duality is Advaita. Advaita literally means non-duality. If you do Drigdrishya, two things will emerge. So first step, you must differentiate, find the reality, then see that what you have differentiated from, they are not apart. Find the reality of the subject, step one, then absorb the object back into the subject. Step two, non-duality. I gave a talk once, 2 steps to the not to. 2 steps to the not to.
Yes.
1 step, Viveka. 2nd step, you must absorb identity. Non-duality must be there. A good time to repeat the story of the Princess of Kashi. So, many of you have heard this, but it's such a nice story that when the, in a royal court, a drama was staged, and one of the characters was the Princess of Kashi, a little princess. Who will play the role? The queen said, let my son, the prince, play the role. Dress him up like a princess, and he will play the role of Princess of Kashi. And that was done. It was so cute. The queen said, draw a painting. Paint a painting of my son dressed in as Princess of Kashi. That was done. It was titled Princess of Kashi, date so and so. Many years later, 15 years later, now the prince is grown up, 20-year-old young man. And one day he goes into the cellar of the palace, he's exploring old things. He finds an old painting, wipes the dust of it. He sees Princess of Kashi and he sees 15 years ago it was painted. So she must be my age. And he falls in love with her. And he says, I have to marry her, otherwise I will be unhappy. But he's shy, he cannot tell his father, the king, or his mother, the queen. But everybody notices something is wrong with him. And finally, the minister goes and asks him, Prince, you can confide in me. Tell me what is wrong. I will help you. I am in love. Oh, very good. Who is she? She is the Princess of Kashi. Princess, very good. You are the prince. She is princess. You have a very good marriage. Where did you meet her? Oh, I have not met her, but I've seen her picture. Picture? Where? In the cellar. Picture of Princess of Kashi in the cellar. Wait. You take me there. Old minister, he remembered something. He took him there. Show me the picture, the photo, the painting, and showed him. And the minister says, Prince, please sit down. I have to tell you something. It is not Princess of Kashi. All right, whoever she is, I will marry her. No, you don't understand. Told the whole story, how there was the drama 15 years ago. You were a little boy at that time. You were dressed as the Princess of Kashi and your painting was made. Tattvamasi, that thou art. This Princess of Kashi is not a second reality apart from you. Then what happened to the vasana of the prince? What happened to the sankalpa of the prince? It went away. The desire went away. Why did the desire go away? Very important. Not because he was frustrated. The Princess of Kashi is married to somebody else. No. Princess of Kashi does not exist. No. I am that. There is no Princess of Kashi. The object of my desire is I myself. There is nothing. It has always been one with me. There is not. It is only appearing with name and form apart from me. This whole world is our Princess of Kashi. Thank you for this question.
Thank you, sir.
Is there anything? Somebody says, what is the title of the book by Professor Ganapati mentioned yesterday? I can show you the book, Mahavakyas. So this is the book. It's a very old copy which I have got. Published from the Department of Philosophy, Ramakrishna Mission, Vivekananda College. T.N. Ganapati, Mahavakyas. I don't know if it's possible to get a copy. I got the text from somebody has put it on the net, but I could not get a PDF. Anyway, he was a great scholar. So intricate study of 16 Samanadhikaranyams and to finally arriving at one Samanadhikaranyam, first stage of Mahavakya Artha Vichara.
Sir, you mentioned about how Brahman enters into the 5 elements as Sat and Chit. What about Ananda?
Big question. Yes. Often people ask, Swami, you keep talking about Brahman as existence, as the presence. You keep talking about witness consciousness. Why don't you talk about Brahman as Ananda? Everyone is interested in Ananda, and after all, that is our goal, fulfillment, Ananda. So, why I don't mention it? See, the problem is this. We often think of Ananda as an experience. The moment we think Ananda, we think happiness. Smiley face, that should be Ananda. Permanent smiley face. No. Fortunately or unfortunately, that is not the meaning of Ananda. I'll mention two things here. One is Taittiriya Upanishad, Anandavalli. There, at the end, there is Ananda Mimamsa. So please see there, what is the meaning of Ananda? So it shows the Ananda as a feeling, which is from Eka Manusha Ananda, the Ananda of Gandharvas, Ananda of Karma Devatas, and so on. I calculated how much Ananda is being mentioned there. The highest human Ananda, if you take that as 1, then I calculated the highest Ananda mentioned there of Brahma is 10 to the power 20 of that. Incredible. That is the range of happiness. But Ananda does not refer to that. That is only a manifestation of Ananda. Shankaracharya says, the ocean which is within us, just a spray of which is what people are madly running after. That is the Ananda of the world. Real Ananda, Ananda with capital A, is nothing other than Brahman. But, so is that a lot of Ananda? No. More Ananda, less Ananda is in the mind, in the Panchakoshas, in the mind it is experienced. But the original Ananda is infinite. It is not a particular feeling. Understand in this way. Just as the existence of things is not Sat. The things which exist is not Sat. Sat is not another thing which exists. It is the very existence itself. Chit is not one more thought. Chit is the consciousness itself which manifests all thoughts. Sat is the existence itself manifested in all existing things. It is not one more thing. Chit is not one more conscious experience. Similarly, Ananda is not one more happy experience. It is that Ananda itself which is found in all joys in our mind. Okay. That disappoints some people because people are expecting some kind of very great Ananda will come. Now, the complicating factor is this, that in the lives of the Jivan Muktas, you do see a lot of Ananda. Jivan Muktas generally are always happy. So that is the reflection of their Ananda nature in a Sattvic mind. The mind of the Jivan Mukta is Sattvic, is full of clarity is there. Aham Brahmasmi. Why should that person not be happy? Panchadasi says, why is a Jivan Mukta so happy? Kritakrityataya, praptabhya praptataya, gyatavya gyatataya. Having achieved what is to be achieved in human life, imagine the fulfillment and restfulness you will get. What has to be achieved in life, I have got it. What has to be gained in life, praptavya, I have achieved, I've got that. I've gained it. Nothing greater remains to be gained. No billionaire, no powerful person, no amount of wealth or power is greater than what I've got. I've got it. What is to be known in life? I am Brahman. That is to be known in life. I have known it. Now imagine the peace of this person. Why will this person not be happy? But that happiness is still in the mind. Vishayananda, Bhajanananda, Brahmananda. So this happiness is not Vishayananda, not the happiness of sense pleasures. It is Bhajanananda. It is a spiritual joy. But Ananda, which is mentioned as Brahman, that is higher than this. This is the source of all of that. So that is there in every one of us, even in us, it is there. It is our real nature. One final point. What is Ananda? Here I will end with the words of Dayananda Saraswati ji. He says, it is much better to think of Ananda as Purnatvam. The infinity, which you have already discovered, Aham Sat, Aham Chit. This Chit and Sat, infinite Chit and Sat, Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma. We say Satchidananda, but Upanishad says Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma, Anantam Sat, Anantam Jnanam. That Anantam nature itself is Ananda. Chandogya Upanishad says, Yo vai bhuma tat sukham, nalpe sukham asti. In the Parichan and the limited, there is no real happiness. The true happiness is the infinite. So our infinite nature, our Purna nature, that itself is Ananda. Good, you have asked. I wanted to share this. This is the deep understanding of Ananda.
Is this somewhat like self-satisfaction?
No, it's not a feeling in the mind. Self-satisfaction, one may feel it's a feeling in the mind. If you fall asleep, where is the self-satisfaction? That also goes away. This is your real nature. You are that. You are Ananda. Vivekananda put it this way. Not that Brahman exists. It is existence itself. Not that Brahman knows something. It is knowledge itself. Not that Brahman is happy. It is happiness itself. Self-satisfaction is a kind of happiness. So I am happy, but it is not that. It is far deeper than that. It can manifest as satisfaction. You can experience it as deep, unchanging, illimitable satisfaction, complete contentment and peace. Remember, the goal of Vedanta was Atyantika Dukkha Nivritti Paramananda Praptischa. Complete cessation of sorrow, transcendence of sorrow, and attainment of the ultimate bliss. What is the ultimate bliss? Ananda, our infinite nature. That we realize. And we have it with no fear of loss. You have it forever. You are that. I think it's good to end on this note of Ananda. Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Tat Sat Shri Ram Krishna Arpanamastu.